Today we need to get into people saying that radio may not play 7 and what the alleged drama is. And then we have an idol accusing Jung Kook of stealing concept, which is actually very funny. And then we have some insults trending. So hey Dums, this is Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab a Dumplings and taste, welcome and let's go. If you're not aware, Twice is currently on tour and they're doing very well. I was very excited to see how strong they still are given how long they've been in the industry and just how iconic they have been. They achieved a huge accomplishment during their tour, being the first ever female K-pop act to sell out MetLife Stadium. And that is definitely a big accomplishment. First of all, it doesn't really even matter how many times MetLife gets sold out. An artist selling it out is still a huge deal. But apparently them selling this out was a bit of a controversial thing. Blackpink has been on tour for a long time now, and they have also done very well. And so anytime one K-pop group is talked about, fans will compare to say their artist is better. This really only mainly exists in K-pop because you really don't see K-pop groups being compared to non-K-pop groups as much. The fandom just wants the title of #1 K-pop act to go to their favorite group, and I doubt even the artist even cares that much. But the drama got bigger when someone tweeted out saying that Twice had lower ticket prices and Blackpink had higher ones, and Blackpink had back-to-back shows, basically saying that Blackpink's accomplishments were better. Well, someone noticed that on MetLife's official Twitter account, they actually liked that tweet, and that was an insult to Twice, and it was trending. And of course, we all live in 2023. A like on a tweet is literally co-signing and agreeing with that thing being said. And so naturally a lot of Twice fans went to attack MetLife's Twitter account for even publicly doing that. And of course people were saying that the staff needs to get fired and all that jazz. There definitely is a big possibility that the social media person is a big Blackpink fan and really did feel like they wanted to be shady towards Twice, but I also want to throw out another theory that could be likely. And if not in this case, still something in general to keep in mind. There's a big disconnect with what is known as the general music fans or American pop listeners versus K-pop listeners. First of all, the fan culture is completely different. Streaming a lot is not something every fandom just automatically thinks to do. So that's one example. And people don't tend to think a tweet or liking a tweet would really say much, even if it was a somewhat shady tweet. It's often overlooked as the American fandom thinks, okay, whatever, it's just a tweet. And so you can see this disconnect there. What a lot of companies do, or what the social media person is told to do, is when there's something big that happens involving an artist or a new product launch, is to just go ahead and blindly hit like on a couple of tweets about the situation. So sometimes they don't even read the tweet, they just hit like. Could also be a possibility. The person who runs the social media account also may not be aware of what these silly fan wars exist between two groups, because as I said earlier, there's a disconnect between American fandom and K-pop ones. They see Twice, Blackpink, and MetLife Stadium all in one tweet and they think, oh, that's cool, and hit like. Also, even if the social media person reads the tweet, it doesn't mean they fully understand what it says. Using words like once, unless you are a big Twice fan, you might not know that's the fandom. And so they may not, and I say may not, completely understand how bad the tweet is. MetLife released a statement to apologize and basically said that they accidentally hit like on it, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense given what I just said. There's also been a lot of insults going around about Jung Kook and his new song 7. There's nothing really actually wrong with 7, as it has not been released yet, but there's been a lot of people insulting radio stations and even some threats. I've seen people say if you don't heavily rotate the song on radio, they'll kill the host or whatever. And then others saying that the station not committing to playing Jung Kook's song is them removing 7 from the stations. And look, if you don't know how radio works, don't have opinions on it. The host can say something as simple as the song is being added, but there's no guarantee. I want to say it's entertainment, especially if it's things that are not getting paid or not money involved. Neither party actually has to do it or have any obligation to do it. You obviously cannot pay for radio, it's frowned upon, right? And there's no contracts to play the song because the radio station, if they feel the song won't do good, they have no incentive to play it. And especially if the song isn't out yet, they have no idea that the song is going to drive listeners to their station, which is why they want to play a song, to get listeners. So this is how it works. A song gets made, whatever, we know this part. The then music promotion and distribution team takes the song song and sends it out to various radio stations. The label will then notify the radio station, the radio edit, alongside a note that says when the label would prefer a song to hit radio. No one is getting paid here. The radio does not pay the label for the song, and the radio does not get paid by the label. So then at this point, it is up to the radio if they want to play the song on that date the label specified, or if they will just want to ditch the song altogether. Now you might wonder, what do these song requests do for radio then? Really not much. A song request will allow the radio to know what song is being requested, and then it will give a gauge to the host on what might be popular now. So if the host opens their inbox and sees 500 requests a day for this particular song, they think, okay, this song might be poppin' right now, we should consider it. So it just gets on their radar. At this point, if a song is already popular and has that many fans requesting, it's probably already on the host or radio station's radar. It's very unlikely this would be a completely unheard of song. The next thing the station looks for is streaming services to see if the songs are doing well on streaming sites. If the answer is yes, radio usually then picks it up. Then the last thing they look for is sometimes if the label is big, because songs are less likely to flop if the label is already well known. So that is the first part. So streaming on Spotify or whatever will help. So please do that. The second part, and what keeps the song on the radio, is just as important. This is why at the beginning, BTS songs, even if they got radio, would only stay for a little bit, because something the mass majority of ARMYs and K-pop fans don't know is the surveys and feedback. There needs to be a certain number of quote-unquote points a song has to get in order to remain on the radio or get high radio rotation. I don't know exactly what that number is, but let's say it's 50%. Once the song gets below 50%, radio will take it off. These points can also be influenced by if people listen to the song all the way through on the radio without changing the station. And the reason I personally believe BTS songs got off the radio so fast was because they were in Korean. Once the general American listeners and ones who do the survey heard Korean, they sent in a request to remove it. People usually won't file a feedback if they like the song. They just Shazam it or go about their day. It's only when they have a problem with it do they then take further action. So just imagine that the majority of people who were even filling out feedback were all going to be people who just didn't like Koreans on the radio. And this is all due to racism. And each station has a different way they do the feedback thing. So you'll have to check with each individual one. But this is how the industry works. So blame the stations, don't blame the host, and there's a possibility 7 can get taken off fast, but I doubt as many hosts have come out to say it's a bop, and I have a feeling it will be all in English. But as you can tell, there's a lot of misunderstanding and a lot, of course, of drama going on. There's been so much more funny drama that has happened that we need to talk about. So we are aware that Jung Kook has that cute 7 promo poster all over the world right now, and then some concept photos came out as well. Well, fans were noticing that the photos appeared very similar to a certain idol. ARMYs noticed the uncanny resemblance to Jimin's concept photos, and people were wondering if Jung Kook took Jimin as inspiration. Jimin actually took action and confronted Jung Kook about the copying a little while ago in the most hilarious way. During BTS's reality show and behind the scenes moment, Jimin talked about how Jung Kook always copies him, and then even said something hilarious to Jung Kook by saying that Jimin was born in Busan first, implying Jung Kook even copied that. This is obviously a joke, and they're essentially brothers, so a little copying is totally okay. We love it. If you want to see me react to some BTS behind the scenes videos and reality shows, I do react to those on Patreon. We do currently have a limited spot, $1 tier, that is open, and we all love to come together and fangirl there. So if you're interested, I'll link the Patreon in the description. I'm sure there's some Jimin solo fans that are really upset at Jung Kook or taking the opportunity to insult Jung Kook, but literally this is not a big deal at all. We all take inspiration from each other, and honestly, even if they were not two people that were close to each other, this is not a big deal, because two people can literally be inspired by the same thing. And I don't mean each other, I mean the concept of someone naked just showing their face and being very bare and vulnerable is not an original idea. And so the amount of ways you can portray that is limited. And so of course there's overlap. It also appears like both Jungkook and Jimin both take heavy inspiration from female artists. So their style is going to be more feminine and vulnerable, which is exactly what these concept photos appear like. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.